Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Aldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping with news that's jaw dropping. They're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
That's a really aggressive entrance to the show.
Yeah, I told you what mood I was in, right?
Yeah. I'm curious, is there any particular reason you're in a bad mood, or just
No, just a
one of
lot
those
of just one of those days. A lot of shit just kind of piled up. A lot of stupidity, a lot of stupid people, and a lot of bullshit. Just
So
you know,
you're like Fred Durst? It's just like one of those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
All right then. Well, that being said, welcome to episode 142 of Sports on Tap Detroit. Alongside Joe Waddell, I am Chris Scott. Frank is still hibernating, sleeping, catching up on his sleep.
Yeah, he's still catching up on his sleep.
All right.
Especially with him staying up for WrestleMania
Yeah.
and getting 3 hours of sleep the other night. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, he's catching up on it though.
All right. Well, good for you, Frank. Catch up on your sleep. I completely understand. So.
Yeah.
Frank
And he's-
says highlighter hoodie.
and he's Frank still has a job.
Apparently, he's not
So
sleeping. He's always up.
It's going well, and he's not sleeping right now. He eventually will be, but yep,
Yes.
the highlighter hoodie. He says, "I'm there in spirit."
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
You absolutely are.
All right, so I mean, let's just get into it. You brought it up already. WrestleMania. We'll recap it because obviously it's a 2-night event, a lot of matches.
Which once again, I do have to state that I think the 2-night event is just.
I'm not a fan
It's so they're not going to go back because they make too much money off of doing
Oh,
the
yeah.
2 nights.
Yeah.
I can't stand the 2-night event. I don't like it.
No, I'm with you. I wasn't a big fan of the 2 nights either. Yes, if you do it one night, obviously it can drag on and go. There was that one WrestleMania, like we didn't leave your house till like 1:00 in the morning.
That was ridiculous.
Like just start it earlier.
Right,
Like,
that's it.
What the hell? If you start this thing at like 5, you're fine.
And everyone that's going to watch is still going to watch at that time.
Yeah.
Frank says Frank agrees. Yes, it's. I mean, it's just started earlier.
Yes.
Have it one night. Have it from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And there you go. Get it all done.
And the problem with it is because you're stretching it out so much, you have like these ridiculous times between matches.
Yeah, and it's
Oh, my God.
And they're showing vignettes and they're showing commercials, and it's like, Jesus, Mary, Mother of God.
Just get to the matches, guys.
Yeah, we
Like,
know the build up to the matches.
Yeah.
We've been watching.
the whole
Jesus.
point of Raw and SmackDown is for
is
that.
the build up to the
Yes.
matches. Like nobody's sitting there watching WrestleMania going, "How did they get in this match?
Yeah, like you know.
How did this happen?"
And then if you really want to know the backstory, just watch the pre-match.
right,
They'll tell you exactly everything you need to know.
that's it.
And just go. Just fucking go. Like, what are we doing here? This doesn't need to be a 2-night drawn-out thing. There's too many matches on the card as is.
Yeah, and there's some matches like you really don't need to see.
You don't.
And I know some of them are people that some people might enjoy watching, but for a WrestleMania, you don't need to have them on the card, man. You just don't. Like that Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, Dakota Kai, Asuka, Kairi Sane. That match was pointless and worthless.
That there was no reason that match should have been on WrestleMania.
None.
You want to put it on like pretty much any other pay-per-view?
Anywhere. Put it anywhere.
Fine.
WrestleMania? Nah.
That is not. That is not.
That
a
was
WrestleMania
that was
match.
needless. The Rey Mysterio, Andrade, Santos Escobar, Dominic Mysterio match, pointless, worthless. Didn't care.
Yeah, the Lashley match, pointless.
Worthless.
Like there was no need for that to be a WrestleMania match. None.
Nope.
But
there was some pluses to WrestleMania, though. I will say that. I mean, I think the Drew McIntyre Seth Rollins match set off night 2.
it was great.
It was fantastic.
We thought it was going to be a great match, and it was.
It was a fantastic match. I love Drew McIntyre. Like you said it before too. I love him in the evil role. I
absolutely.
love him in the villain role.
And it ended exactly how we thought it was going to end.
It did. It ended with Priest cashing in.
Yep.
Punk interfered.
Or screwed him, at the end.
And that's obviously that's going to be the storyline. We kind of knew that was going to be the storyline, and I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
But I like how they went about it.
Yeah,
It wasn't just Punk screwing him. It was McIntyre's kind of fault that this happened.
it was absolutely.
So I like that entity of it.
Yeah, it wasn't just that Punk jumped in
Yeah.
and was a dick about it. No, he sat there and took berating for a while from Drew, and Drew dropped the ball, really.
He
And
did.
just the way they had that match play out, I thought was pretty entertaining.
Yes. But obviously to start off night 1, even night 1 first match was fantastic. Becky versus
yeah.
Rhea Ripley.
Oh, listen,
Great match.
I
I know. Yeah.
I don't. I mean, they could have just walked out there and stood in each corner for a while, and I'd have been happy. But they actually did have a wrestling match, and it was a good match.
It was a damn good match.
Yeah.
They got after it. They showed that they're obviously fantastic wrestlers. They put on a hell of a match. And we called that one. We said Rhea was going to retain, and she did.
Rhea's a fucking badass, man.
Dude.
She's quickly working her way up the ranks of greatest female wrestler of all time. I mean, she's not there yet. She's still fairly fresh, but man, I'm telling you, she's great at what she does.
Yeah. And I mean, just the amount of great matches that Becky puts on.
Yeah. She's awesome too. Yeah.
She's in that conversation as well. It's
Absolutely.
one of the best females to ever do it. So, and kudos to them. That's awesome. That's a great way to start off night 1. It was a hell of a match. It delivered. I think I don't necessarily know if the right person won, but I get why she did.
Yeah, I think the right person won for the way the storyline,
That's fair.
For the way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like I think for now the right person won. Do I think Becky Lynch will eventually hold a title again? I do.
Yeah.
I think she will. I think she's that good, and she's not old to the point where they're not going to put the title back on her. She's going to have a title again one day.
I think she's gonna have at least one more for sure.
Hold on one second. Frank does say about talking about 2 nights going to one night. He says start at 3 with the pre-show.
Yeah.
And then the main card kicks off at 5.
Yeah.
And goes till 11 or 12. And
Done.
To me that's
Done.
I think 11 probably should do it. I think 12.
I
12
can
you're
live with
running.
12, but I'm with you.
I think 12 will be running into
Yeah.
Then it turns into 12:30, and then
Right.
But I agree with you there. Pre-show at 3. Started off at 5. Every one of us who watched both nights, reluctantly, would watch that. We would all be there,
Yes.
ready to watch that take place on one day.
Because like you said, if people are going to watch it, they're going to watch that shit no matter what time it
You're
starts.
going to tune in.
You're going to watch.
Even if it's early in the day, you're going to tune in because you want to watch it.
Like you tuned into the ones that are like overseas, the one that are in like Saudi Arabia
Right.
or in Scotland or this
Well, like
upcoming one that's going to be in France.
Like I watch those afterwards, but
Well,
I don't tune in
the
live.
one in
to
Australia, I caught on the replay. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no fucking way I'm waking up
those,
that
but
early to watch
not
this.
a chance in hell. But
But the diehards and the hardcores will,
right, exactly.
and that's fine. But
the reason I say they're never going to do it is because they're never going to go back to one night.
Ooh.
Because the ticket sales alone
yeah,
that they had at the link
Oh, it's
for
crazy.
both nights of WrestleMania were like 140 some thousand fans.
Hmm.
Over 70,000 people paid for tickets.
Yep.
Both nights.
yep. And
I mean, that's nuts.
So they're never gonna.
They're
say
never
anything to
going
that.
back.
No.
to
And that's
one night.
and frankly, that's a shame that it's basically down to money. Which I mean, let's face it, everything is.
Yeah. And Frank says, and do it on Saturday so I don't hate my life Monday morning.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. And that's why, honestly, and I mean, I'm probably in the minority on this, but that's why I think the Super Bowl should be on Saturday.
No, I'm with you. I have said that for several years now. I'm really with you on that one. I think the Super Bowl should be on Saturday or
have the following day.
The following day
Yeah.
should be a holiday.
Oh, that's a sport. That's a sporting event, though. It shouldn't be a holiday.
give a-
Why?
I don't give a
Why
fuck.
not?
We have holidays for worse.
Like we have Columbus Day. Like why the fuck? Like yes, I know why, but if you actually read into him, it probably shouldn't be a holiday. You know? Yeah, probably shouldn't be a holiday.
I'm just gonna. Might want to read a book.
Yeah,
Just saying.
exactly. Might
I'm just saying.
want to educate yourself.
saying.
You know.
Just gonna throw that one out there.
Getting back to another match that honestly didn't need to happen was the six-pack ladder match for the tag team championship.
But in a way, you're very glad it did happen because
my boy.
You got to see your boy win a
Truth,
title.
baby.
He won a title at
Yeah.
WrestleMania, so like you got to see that.
Still didn't need to happen at WrestleMania.
No, I agree. I agree with
You
you.
could have done this match at Backlash.
But the reason, and I get the reason this happened at WrestleMania, they needed to get the belt off of
Priest and Balor.
right.
Yep.
Like they had to have that happen.
Yep.
They were.
That's
they,
how you knew that he was cashing.
They were the main champs, right? And they were champs for both shows. They had to get both belts off of them. And since they were holding both belts, that does kind of warrant them getting a match at WrestleMania. Now, the fact that it was this kind of a match was really basically that told us
That Priest was cashing.
it told us that they were losing both belts.
Yep.
If they were gonna retain, it would have been just a match 1-on-1.
Yeah.
But with them putting both belts up, you win one belt first time, you win another belt. I mean, it was set in stone.
I still
two
think-
different tag teams were going to win two different belts,
Right.
and it wasn't going to be them. They weren't going to retain, and Priest was going to cash in the next night.
I mean, I still think you could have done that at this following one, Backlash, and you could have done the same thing. You could have had Priest cash then.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they wanted Priest to
they
cash
wanted
at
Priest cash in
WrestleMania.
at WrestleMania. It just, I don't like that though. Like a guy wins and he's like, if he has the belt for 5 minutes, to me that's kind of silly.
I think that feeds into the story they want,
Maybe.
though.
I don't know.
It feeds
To me,
into this because McIntyre's been so I've been screwed. Woe is me.
Yeah.
It's been awful. I've had an awful road. Like that just goes back to his story, and I think they're doing it well with him. I think his story continuing is just to me. I enjoy watching that.
But
every
now
week.
to me, it kind of puts that story between McIntyre and Punk kind of in limbo a little bit since he doesn't have the belt. Like, what are they going to do with that? Because Punk can't wrestle.
Well,
But
Punk
at least if Drew had the belt, he could take on challengers. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, Drew is going to go back to challenge for the belt, right? He's going to fight Priest now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Not after as of last night. He's not.
Well, no. I mean, it's eventually going to happen, right? I mean, yeah, okay, Jay's going to fight him now because Jay won that match, right?
Right.
But Drew's going to get involved in that. You know he is because, one, he wants the belt, and two, he hates Jay. So he's going to get involved there. But that Punk thing is going to – that's still there in the background, right?
Yeah.
And Punk's not going to go off of TV completely. He's going to be around,
He
right?
is.
He can't wrestle. But that's going to be a storyline that they're going to continue to play off in the background until he gets back, and then they're going to move that story to the front.
It's just kind of weird because like McIntyre really can't do anything to Punk because he can, but it's not like
Right.
they can actually physically like wrestle. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's to me, it's gonna be a little awkward. And I said I think it's a little silly that they took it off of him after like 5 minutes.
Well, it's not going to be as awkward as one of the things that happened last night, but we'll get to that.
Okay, all right, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I honestly didn't see Truth and Miz winning that belt. I really didn't, but I'm glad they did.
I told you they were going to win.
You did, so you called that, which is awesome.
Well,
But anyway, again, I thought it was a match that didn't need to happen in WrestleMania, but it did. Whatever.
well, and I Austin, great. This Friday, we get to see Austin Theory and Grayson Waller with the belts, along with Cody Rhodes with his belt, too. Like, we get to see those. I'm so glad we got tickets for this fucking event. Hey, listen, it's going to be fun. I'm just talking shit.
I think it's gonna be
It's going to be a
good
blast.
time.
But, we get to go see. These are three fucking people that we really don't. I mean, Grayson Waller's kind of funny to me, but
Yeah.
like I don't really want to see any of these guys
No.
for any like the time.
If it's
truthfully.
gonna be like a slobber fest like it was last night for Cody,
Oh,
oh my
God.
god, I definitely don't want to see that.
dude, and it
It
was,
was like 45 minutes.
well, and it was also the same way the night he won at WrestleMania.
ridiculous.
dude. So he won.
Yeah.
I went. I fucking brushed my teeth.
Oh, my
washed
God.
my face. Got ready for bed. Went back. They were still going.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
What?
that's why I
What the fuck are we
and
doing?
And that's why I put in our group chat last night. I'm like,
I
I
hate
hate
this
this
song.
fucking song. Because like the night before, it's like it was on repeat. It
was-
just kept going.
yeah.
Like, good lord. Like we
That's-
get it. He won.
Well, I was telling Frank, I'm like, listen, man, the way this whole thing played out made me side the other side. If it wasn't for them getting The Rock involved and all this other bullshit, right, I would have been on board with Cody winning, getting the belt finally, doing that. Like, I would have been, I'm not going to say finishing his story, but I would have been all on board
Right.
with him progressing and getting the belt And I'd have rooted for him because I am a Cody fan. I love what he did leaving and then making his way back.
And
I know you guys are going to say, "Oh, that's the story, Joe." Fuck off. Fuck off. But the way it all played out, I wasn't on that side anymore. Like, it turned me against him doing it because I just had to hear constantly. It was like nails on a chalkboard for me. It was like, fucking A, can I stop hearing about how he's going to finish the fucking story? And then it turned into like, Jesus Christ, this guy just got elected fucking president of the United States.
Well,
Holy shit.
That's kind of why I want to see that, like, behind the scenes documentary that they're going to have.
No, I do want to see that.
I do kind of want to see that.
That comes out tomorrow, right?
I believe so. To kind of see how they came to this conclusion. And you got some snippets of it, like through the previews and whatnot, of how they almost kind of had to do this.
What I like about what they're going to do on Wednesday, and if it plays out this way, I like that they're actually going to let you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because they never really did that back in the day, right? But they're going to let you behind the scenes of basically telling you, hey, yes, this is all scripted.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to tell you why we went from this script to this script.
Because they almost had to.
Right, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah,
because back in the day, even as recent as a few years ago, they would never come out and go, so this was all scripted, but we had to change the script to do this. And they never would have done that.
Never.
I like the fact that they're owning it, and it's like that's great. Everyone knows it is, so like let's just not fool around.
I think, and I kind of hesitate when I say this, but I think people are smart enough to know that now, that it's not that it is fake, that it is scripted.
Yeah.
But that's what they do brilliantly well, is they kind of combine the reality.
They blur the
lines, which is And in that snippet, you heard Reigns say that. He goes, "If we can make you believe that this is legit, then we've done exactly what we set out to do."
Right.
And they did. There was parts of that you were like, "Okay, I could. This is legit." But
right.
Well,
at least they made us question.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Because you and I, Frank, like we're all smart enough wrestling fans. We're like, all right, we know it's all scripted. We get into talking about it, but when it comes down to it, there were times during that whole thing where, even though I didn't like the way it all played out, in the end, and The Rock was pretty awkward in a lot of parts, even though I'm a fan of his. There was times where they blurred the lines so much that we were like, wait.
Does he really hate him?
Was that was that real? Was that not like you're like, all right, well, I know it's scripted, but that one, like that jab seemed fucking real.
Yeah.
And that insult seemed like it had some
Well, it's kind of like when you went back to like when it was Rock versus Cena.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that was
legit.
It was a lot of they scripted the fact who was going to win and all that stuff, but there was a lot of hatred there.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of real back and forth.
I'm sure you've watched that documentary.
Oh, absolutely.
About that. Yeah,
it was great.
Like those jabs between them, that was some real shit.
Yeah.
That's the brilliance of it, is it had you going, holy, well, wait a minute, But that's that's what makes great television. That's what makes great wrestling.
Yeah, Frank, we're going to get to that. That comment you just put out there, we're going to get to that. Remember earlier in the show where I said not quite as awkward as something that happened last night? Yeah, what you just mentioned is it, and we'll get to that after the WrestleMania talk.
All right. Next, we had the Mysterio and Andrade versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar match. Again, didn't care. Honestly, didn't even watch it. I think I went to the bathroom during that match. Didn't care. Didn't watch
that was a bathroom break match.
Legit was a bathroom break match. So I frankly don't need to talk about it. Don't care.
No, I don't give a shit.
Then they had the Usos versus each other, and honestly,
Jay,
this was one of the worst matches of WrestleMania for me.
Really?
It was. Because honestly, to me, all it was a super kick match. That's it. That's all they did, was just kept super kicking each other. And I'm like, this should have been a significantly better match. And I think they kind of rushed the story between them.
Right.
And they just threw them together.
Well,
like you knew it was coming at some point.
Right. It just was there was no build up to it.
Exactly.
It was an easy one.
It was.
But like since they got into an argument or like had a falling out after SummerSlam, where we saw Jimmy get screwed over or Jay get screwed over by Jimmy, there was really no build up to this match. It was just like, well, these are brothers. They fell out. They still don't like each other, so we're going to put them in a match at WrestleMania. And it was like, all right, well, that was kind of thrown together. We all wanted to see it, but we wanted to see some sort of story play out before we saw the match, and we just didn't get it.
And then you get the match, and their skill set is very similar.
Right.
So just I'm watching this. I'm like, this is fucking boring.
Yeah.
And then they just kept supercating each other.
Yeah.
It's like okay, like just be over, like
Yeah.
be done. Obviously, we all kind of knew Jay was going to win. I think we called that.
Yeah.
That Jay was going to win that match.
Brandon just said Rock trying to be a heel after being a baby for so long had to be the reason it's awkward. A little bit of that was awkward throughout the whole storyline, but that's not the awkward part I'm talking about. But yes,
We'll get there.
Throughout that storyline,
Yeah.
there was awkward parts of him. He tried so hard to be heel.
He did.
And I think he overtried. Like,
Yep.
The Rock has been a heel before, and he could have just come back and resume that heel role really easy, but he oversold
Yeah.
and tried so hard to get people to hate him, which, I understand what he was doing, but, like, you didn't really have to try that hard.
You didn't.
You could have been heel Rock without putting forth that much fucking lame effort. You know what I mean?
No, I agree 1,000,000% on this one. After that, we had the Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi versus Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane match. Again, done a match I didn't care about.
Don't care.
Didn't care.
Don't care.
Like, we get it. You're trying
Jade
to build
Cargill.
up Jade Cargill
Yeah.
as a monster. I
That's
get
the only
it.
reason that match took place.
Yep.
And Jade Cargill, as much potential as she has, is still very raw.
Yep.
And is still very awkward in the ring, in my opinion.
Now, you had her with some pros in there, and
Which was for a reason.
basically everybody in there besides Dakota Kai, to me, was a pro in that match.
Right.
Like, they can help you look good somewhat,
Right.
anyways.
Exactly. They can sell you.
Yes.
Right? And that's why they had it.
Yeah.
To sell Jade Cargill, but she has some work to do, man. I'm just
I
not
agree.
a fan of hers in the ring at this point.
No, I believe with her athleticism, I believe she'll get there. Once she learns the ins and the outs of like how to do stuff and
I agree.
whatnot, I think she'll get there. But again, another match, I'm just like, okay, that
Now-
that happened.
Now, the next match we're going to talk about is the one where I think this is the only one that we might not have gotten right.
Oh, because we all thought Gunther was going to retain.
Fighting this person, yeah.
Fighting Sami Zayn, yes, yeah.
Now-
Now you know my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree. And Frank just said she needs to be in NXT. I agree with you, Frank. She
Yes,
needs to go to
she does.
NXT and work
Yep.
for a while.
Agreed.
I think we all thought with Gunther fighting Sami Zayn, it was a lock he was going to retain. Now, Sami Zayn, in my opinion, Sami Zayn was going to put up a good fight, have a good match. He's a good wrestler. He's fun to watch. I thought he was put there to have a really good match with Gunther,
Yeah.
but was really no threat to take the title because I just didn't see them stopping Gunther's reign, his long title reign
Against Sami Zayn.
against Sami Zayn. I thought it would be a bigger up and comer, somebody that they could sell, somebody that needed the boost, that could use the boost. Sami Zayn doesn't fit that mold,
and like we said last week,
I'm
like,
happy for him. I am. I like Sami Zayn. I think he's been a hell of a wrestler for a long time.
Yeah.
And do I think he deserves to have a little bit of a title reign? Yeah, man. I'm all fucking for it.
Right.
I just didn't see, to me, taking the title off of Gunther's big long ass title reign didn't make sense to me for him.
It didn't. And like we kind of talked about last week, I think there's other people that kind of should have been in that spot, like you said, like an LA Knight or
An LA Knight, or even honestly, even a guy like, I know Braun Breaker is a guy that they want to sell
Yeah.
dramatically.
yeah,
Have him get like an upset,
Yep.
crazy pinfall against Gunther or something like that. You know what I mean? Somebody that could use the boost of beating a guy like Gunther who's had a long title reign.
Yeah.
And you get some prestige behind your name, and that helps build you up. People become bigger fans of you. To me, Sami Zayn doesn't fit that mold.
'Cause
And
I look at a
as much as
guy-
I love the guy, it's just
I look at Sami Zayn going up against Gunther. I'm like, and you think about this in like real terms, I guess, and you're
Right.
like, this guy would never win.
right.
He wouldn't beat Gunther. He wouldn't.
No.
And that's kind of what bothers me about it. It's like,
Yeah.
pick a guy who would actually, if you actually legit looked at him, and you're like, yeah, I can see this dude beating this dude.
Right.
But I don't see that coming from Sami Zayn.
Now, in a way, I will tell you that I don't want to be a hypocrite because I always say, I have said the long-ass title reigns were getting old to me.
Yes.
And I have said that I want more unpredictability.
Yes.
So this Sami Zayn match fits both those molds.
Yep.
So for me to not like it, it's kind of hypocritical. So in a way, I do like it. I like the fact that they're willing to take the titles off the long reign guys.
Yep.
They're willing to throw in some curveballs and throw us off track. I like that portion of it.
It was the wrong guy.
To me, it was.
It was the wrong guy. You could have had
but again, there's portions of it I like,
Right.
which I just said. There is.
I mean, maybe you could have had it like what's his face? That short guy, Chad Gable. Like maybe like interfere or some shit like that. Okay.
Right.
Like whatever, like without Gunther's knowledge.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like and then you protect Sami Zayn,
Right.
in the same regard. But again, him losing the title, fine, because like you said, these long title reigns are kind of like, okay, enough, we get it. But you got to have him lose to the right person.
Right.
And to me, he wasn't the right person to lose that.
Right.
So.
No, I agree with you.
And then the final match of night one was The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. I thought it delivered for the most part. Like,
I'll be honest with you, that match was pretty damn good in my opinion. It was one of the longest matches in WrestleMania history.
yeah, oh yeah.
And Frank and I had talked about this at work. I was pretty impressed with The Rock.
Yeah.
Simple fact of he, in the last few months, he went from being that muscle-bound, built for show to the trimmed down, muscle-bound, built for go. You know what I mean? Like, when he first came out, when he was coming out towards the first of the year, where he was just muscle-bound, his back was the size of a fucking skyscraper. It was just like, it was just, you see him from behind on TV, and you're like, Jesus Christ, the guy's back is...
He looked like the Eclipse yesterday.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
But he came back after a couple months of training and being in training sessions.
Yep.
This guy came back trimmed down,
Yep.
and he didn't look near as clunky and as off as I thought he probably would. Because let's face it, the guy's 50-some years old, right? And as much as like some people would say, what are you talking about? The Rock's always in great shape.
It's a difference though.
He's always in great shape to look good. He's not built for go. He's built for show.
He's in acting shape.
Right. That's exactly it. Acting shape.
Yep.
He's built for show
Yep.
to be an actor. He had to get back into shape to be in a wrestling ring and be athletic.
But yeah,
again.
because if he's in that ring being the size he was, he
Yeah.
would have been slow as fuck.
and it would have been awkward.
Oh, yeah.
and it would have been clunky.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I was impressed. I thought he did a great job. I don't think he did a great job through all the storyline of it.
No.
He had some bad parts in there.
He did.
But as far as the match goes,
But the in-ring stuff
Did a great job.
Yeah, the in-ring stuff, I can't complain about it. I thought the match delivered. Kind of went the exact way I thought it was going to go.
yeah.
But yeah, again, you got the four guys in the ring. They know what the fuck they're doing. So it generally leads to a great match, and it was.
And there's one thing you could say about all four of those guys is in the ring, all four of those guys are at the top of the game.
Yes.
I mean, Rock, not so much anymore. He used to be.
But
he was pretty impressive, and you put him in there with Reigns, Rhodes, and Rollins. Yeah. Rock, Reigns, Rhodes, and Rollins. Jesus
wow,
Christ.
there you go.
I don't know why that just now dawned on me.
Now, right
but-
there, you are not at the top of your game.
No, but
But I know who is.
the Joe Wright Group.
Yes.
No. Jason Stiltner. The Joe Wright Group. Which one are you doing?
I don't know. Just pick
Everybody.
One.
They're all great.
Just fucking pick one.
Jason Stiltner.
Okay. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Happy Chinooka.
Happy Chinooka, everybody.
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
Wow. Thanks for that, buddy.
Yeah, my bad. So back to this. Yeah, the Rock, Reigns, Rhodes, and Rollins.
Yep.
The R's.
Yeah.
Damn good match.
It was.
Right.
It was. You know, they
Outcome we expected.
beat the hell out of each other. It was great. Cool. Done. And you set it up for the following night, Bloodline Rules.
Right.
Great.
Which you knew was going to be a bunch
yeah.
of fireworks,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
I think it was, we were all just waiting for that.
Yep.
But night two, we'll go back to talk about McIntyre.
We will.
Rollins, great match.
Yep.
We already discussed that. It was one of the better matches of the entire WrestleMania, in my opinion. I thought that match was great.
I mean, we can get into that right now if you want. Night two.
yeah, I figure that's
yeah.
where we're going,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
McIntyre versus Rollins, it delivered. And again, it ended pretty much exactly how we said it was going to end.
one of the best.
McIntyre was going to win.
Yep.
Punk was going to screw over McIntyre, and Priest was going to cash. This is exactly how it went down.
Yep. Well, and to me, again, it was one of the better. It was one of the better matches on the card. To me, it was one of the top matches on the entire card, the entire 2-night event. This was great. It was a great watch. It was a great ending, even though it was telegraphed. Kind of, we knew what was going to happen.
Yep.
I still liked the way it played out, and I enjoyed watching it play out.
And this is why I like when you got like two pros in the ring who know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
You know you're going to get a good match. You're not having to worry about it. You're like, okay, these guys are going to do what they do. It's going to be great. And they did what they did. So that's props to them. Well done, guys.
yeah. That next match we could probably gloss past.
Oh, the Philadelphia street fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care about that match. Yeah, it was like, okay. Moving on to the LA Knight versus AJ Styles match. It was all right for me. It wasn't anything special.
No,
I just wish it was for something, you know?
same. Listen, it was a way to get LA Knight on the card. It was a way to get AJ Styles on the card.
Yes.
I mean, both those guys have fans, right? And you know, lots of people want to see both those guys.
Yep.
So to me, it was a way to get them on there. But I'm with you. I just there was not much to it. Yeah, great. They're having a wrestling match.
Right. And that was it.
It was a grudge match.
Yeah, and that was it. I just wish it was for so even like a
I'll be honest with you. I much preferred watching them fight at the signing event.
Yeah.
Where like they threw each other into the wall at the convention, and AJ Styles came up with a fucking broken bloody nose. That was more intriguing to watch than their actual wrestling match at WrestleMania.
They won where they fought at like AJ Styles' house.
That too, yeah.
I was like, okay, that was yes.
They got into a knockdown drag out at a like a convention there.
Yeah.
Right at the weekend of WrestleMania, and AJ Styles ended up with a busted, broken nose, bloody nose over it. That was more exciting than an actual wrestling match, truthfully. But
yeah, the match itself, again, with no stakes, it was just kind of like,
yeah.
All right, these guys are just here just to get on WrestleMania. It's like, okay, great. At least make it for, if you're not gonna make it for a belt, at least make it like for a contender.
Yeah,
match or something, anything.
Any type of stipulation that makes it more exciting.
And then we got the triple threat match with Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. Again, we called this one. We said Paul was going to retain.
I didn't. I had said I thought.
I thought Paul was going to retain.
See, I had thought Orton was going to win it.
Okay.
But yeah, that was. I think that was the only one where I was.
I wish
wrong.
we could bet on this shit. I really do.
Well, that would have been the only one I got wrong personally. But yeah,
clean up, man. It's again another good match, and this is why I thought night 2 was better than night 1. I thought there was just better matches all around. But
right.
Yeah, the triple threat match, it delivered, and I don't necessarily believe that Logan Paul is the right guy to continue to hold the title.
I don't either.
He's a part timer, and that's what bothers me about
I know why they have it on him right now, but I truly think they need to take it off of him soon and put it on somebody that's more of an established everyday guy.
But seeing Orton just bulldoze that ice speed. What the hell is his name?
I don't know.
I've never heard of this guy in my life, and I'm like, who the fuck is this?
I don't know.
And
I don't know what the fuck his name was.
No, I saw it. It was something like iSpeed something. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he's like
I don't know who you are.
He's like a YouTuber or something.
Yeah, he's like a YouTuber, but I'm glad like Orton just demolished you. That was great. That was fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, and honestly, he almost looked pissed when he did it too.
He did.
He almost looked like he was really fucking, like he was honestly fucking angry at the kid. He was like, "How dare you fucking put your fucking hands? I'm gonna show you exactly what the fuck's going on."
Exactly. You think this is fake?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show you how fake it is, dude.
You think it's all fun and games to get in here? I'm gonna show
Let me
you.
put you through a table.
Might be scripted, but this is gonna fucking hurt. Tell you that.
Yep. Moving on from that match, we'll go to the women's championship match with Bayley and Io Sky. I thought this was a great match.
It was.
It was a fantastic match.
There was, you had said in one of the chats, we had a couple group chats going, you had said in one of them that you thought there was some botches. It was a little clunky, right? Or whatever you said.
A little bit, yes.
Right, and I had agreed with you. I was like, yeah, there was some missed spots in this one.
There was.
But overall, it was a really good match with two really good wrestlers that are just fun and entertaining to watch in the ring.
Yeah, And, like, I don't know how legit Bailey's knee injury was. Maybe
Yeah, I don't know.
If her knee was in any way compromised, I could see how you could get some of the like sloppier spots in there.
Right.
But I don't know for sure if her knee is messed up or not because they actually do a really good job at hiding that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought there was a few sloppy spots, but overall, like you just said, I thought the match was fantastic. Both women performed, and they did exactly what we thought they were going to do. And the right person won here.
Yeah.
Bailey absolutely deserved to win that.
Yeah. Once again, we called that.
Yes.
We knew she was going to come away with the title.
Yes, we did. And then moving on to the main event of the whole weekend was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the championship.
Yep.
And this match, again, I thought delivered.
I did too, man.
It was good.
It was a really good match, and then
Like,
I mean, they had a really good match, just the two of them.
Yes.
And then when you started having some interference,
Yep.
I thought that played out really well too. I loved the Jay and Jimmy Uso up on the ramp.
That was better than their match.
It was. And them up on the ramp, as soon as they turned the camera around to look down the ramp,
Yeah.
and Jimmy was walking up, and I looked at it, as soon as it happened, I went, these guys are going off the
Oh,
ramp.
yeah.
And then Jay came running up and just tackled him off the ramp.
Like I said,
That was awesome.
that
And
was
then
better than their match to me.
It was more exciting.
It was.
And then you had interference you had Seth come down with the shield.
Oh, that was awesome.
I didn't think there was enough of it though.
No, I agree
he
with
came
you.
down as Shield with the Shield
Yeah.
music, and all of a sudden he's just like he got knocked the fuck out again.
Yeah,
It was
he got
like
hit with a table
fuck-
or hit with a chair.
yeah. And Frank said, he's like, well, that's the way that played out. Roman took his eyes off of Cody, and did exactly to Rollins what Rollins did to Roman with hitting him with the chair in the back.
And I think Frank is 1,000,000% right on this.
And I said, yeah, he is. And I agreed with him on that. I'm like, no, I get that.
Yeah.
To me, I wanted to see more of, like, Rollins came down in full fucking
Shield gear.
shield gear.
And was in it for like 20 seconds.
We saw him for like a matter of 10 seconds. And even after, during the celebration, I think he really is injured.
Yeah, I do too.
Because he couldn't even get out of the ring on his own.
Yeah.
And it didn't look fake to me. It was after this big celebration and everything where nobody was really paying attention. Off in the corner of the TV, you could basically see Sami Zayn helped. I think it was Sami Zayn. Somebody helped him out of the ring, and he was limping. And
Yeah.
I don't think it was show.
I read an article actually a little while ago that he's going to take some time off, probably at least like a month or so.
Yeah, I don't
Which is-
blame him.
which is
I
smart.
To me, I believe he really does have some sort of injury going on. He did not look well, and it didn't look like it was for show to me. It looked like it was for
It
real.
was legit. I believe that 100%. But yeah, I love that he came down in the Shield stuff, and
That was
I
great.
said that like
That
leading
was
up to
great.
this. Like if he doesn't come down in the Shield stuff,
Right.
huge missed opportunity.
Yep,
He had to
and
do
he
that.
did, and it was for the short time that it happened. It was great. I just wish we'd have got more of it, a little bit more of it. But maybe we didn't because he really is hurt. Maybe that's why we didn't.
I think they should bring the Shield back. I know
know.
they're missing a guy, but
But I think
you can put somebody else.
You
in
could
that
put
role.
somebody else in that role, or you could just do it with them two.
You could.
And Roman's going to take some time off anyway, right?
Yeah.
But when Roman comes back, can you imagine if him and Rollins come
Yeah.
back together?
That would be great. I would
Oh,
love
that'd be
that.
fucking sweet.
I would absolutely love that.
We should write this shit.
Because like Roman's been on record saying he's like, I hate that we broke up.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was scripted, whatever. But
Right.
he's like, I hate that we broke up. I loved it
Right.
when we did that. It was amazing.
And then you had, God, who else interfered in that match? There was
yeah, Cena in the match.
There was John
who-
Cena interfered.
Again, he looks like shit in the ring.
he looks like shit in the ring, but also, dude, man, do something with your hair.
Yeah.
Okay, like
yeah.
Okay,
Just go back to what you had, dude.
if I were to grow my hair out,
Yes.
it would look probably worse than his grown out right now.
Yeah.
But bro, just make the decision.
It's bad.
Like you
bad.
you look like Jim Varney.
You do. He does. 100% he does. He looks like a jacked up Jim Varney. That's what he looks like.
does.
Like
With like a bad, it's not even comb over, it's a comb back.
I don't know what
And
it
as he
is.
combs it back, there's
there's
still that
little
bald
spot.
There's still
There's
the
a little
bald spot.
He should just cut it how you normally had it. Back in the day.
Frank's going, grow it out. No,
No,
that's not happening.
It
bro.
looks ridiculous.
That's not happening.
You had the Undertaker.
He wants me to grow mine out.
Oh,
that's
there you
not
go.
happening either.
So you had the Undertaker interfere as well,
Yes.
which I read that was supposed to be Stone Cold.
And they couldn't get him,
We couldn't get a deal or something like that.
which to me is insane.
okay,
Like,
how does
what
that-
else are you doing, Steve?
Yeah.
Like, what what do you got going on that you're too busy to be like, yeah, I'll come and Stone Cold Stunner The Rock at WrestleMania? Like, what the fuck?
Which would have been great because nobody sells a stunner like The Rock.
Oh, I know.
Nobody.
I know.
That would have been fantastic.
He was always the best at selling somebody's finisher.
Oh,
move.
God, yeah.
And because those two went at it so much, yeah, he sold the stunner like nobody's
business. It was amazing. But yeah, from what I read, it was supposed to be Stone Cold. All right, cool. They got The Undertaker. He was there for like a minute.
And he did a half-assed tombstone.
Yeah. Rest in peace
yeah.
or whatever. Or whatever the hell he's calling it now.
Yeah. Whatever it's called. I can't think of it right
But
now.
overall.
It was a half-assed choke slam.
We missed anybody else that interfered? I think it was it, right?
I think that was it.
I think that was it.
Yeah, Jimmy and Jay. Solo came out.
Oh,
interfered.
Solo, yeah.
Solo interfered.
Whatever. Solo interferes and everything.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. But yeah, overall, I think they got the match right. I do.
I think everything was good in that match.
Yeah.
I would say the whole thing all along, the only thing I don't like is that, to me, the payoff still wasn't worth. You got The Rock involved.
Yeah.
And it just still, the payoff wasn't worth it.
It wasn't.
And I'm kind of mad at The Rock right now because I'm such a huge fan. But he kept saying, just enjoy the ride The Rock is taking you on.
What ride?
Bro, like I rode the teacups at Walt Disney World. This was not even teacups, man.
No.
Like this ride was not worth it to me. It just didn't pay off. I would have rather them not got The Rock involved and just had the Cody and Roman shit happen, and I'd have been way more happy with a storyline with that. And then maybe bring The Rock out at Mania as a surprise interfere.
Yeah.
And then I'd have been for that too. Like that would have been great. Having The Rock involved all the way along with this in particular storyline, I just did not. It was clunky. It was awkward at times.
Honestly, if you think about it,
It was just not.
If you
not
think
good.
about it, it really didn't make any sense.
It didn't. It didn't. That's my whole problem with it.
Because they did it and how the reaction was to The Rock being in it. They had to do it. They had to figure out a way to keep The Rock, but also appease these Cody Crybaby little bitches.
But in my opinion, yes, at that point they had to do it. I get it. I think the way they did it,
Yeah. It could have been better.
didn't play off. There was other things they could have done to do it.
But once you introduce The Rock as Roman's potential opponent,
Right.
you couldn't get rid of him.
No, but you couldn't. But you could have played it out differently
You
than
could've.
what you did.
Yes, yeah.
Because to me, the way they did it, you're right. You're 100% right. It just did not make sense.
It didn't. Looking back on the whole thing, you're like, wow, that really didn't make any fucking
didn't.
sense.
It
Like, there was
didn't.
no need for the tag team match. None.
No.
There was no need for it.
Well, and it just played out awkward and weird. It just played out really strange.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it was just off.
Yep. Nope, I agree. And with that is our WrestleMania 40 recap. Next year, I think it's in Minnesota. 41, I believe.
I think so.
I believe it is in Minnesota.
But yeah. So let's get to the awkward.
Yeah.
The really awkward
Yeah.
portion, which was last night.
Yes.
Did you watch last night?
I did.
Okay. You obviously saw The Rock confront Cody.
Yep.
Bad
For
news.
the first 45 minutes of the fucking show.
Yeah,
Which
dude, it was
you could have
fucking-
done this in 20 minutes and been done with it.
Well, you know why they did that? Because Triple H has been on record with saying he wants to do away with the third hour of Raw because writing a third hour of wrestling sucks.
Yeah.
So they did that just to get away with basically an entire hour for nothing. He didn't have
Fair
to
enough.
write another hour of wrestling. But I think when it goes to Netflix, they're going to go down to 2 hours.
I think
for
they
Raw.
will too, which I'm fine with.
And it might change days too, by the way. But the awkward part was The Rock asking to hold Cody's belt.
That was weird.
It was just fucking weird, man.
It was.
I
And how he
"Can
went
I-
about it?
Can I hold your? Yeah, I'll let you hold mine if you let me
Yeah.
hold yours. It's like, dude, are you
What
in
is-
a bathroom right now?
what
What
is
are you
happening
doing?
here? You
What
wanna-
is
you
what is
wanna
going-
shake it for
Yeah,
me?
what are
We're
you?
done?
What is going on?
Yeah.
I want to hold yours, but I'll let you hold mine. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
here?
that whole belt thing, even when he's talking about his belt that Muhammad Ali gave him, I'm
Well,
like, this is weird.
Okay, like I get why they did that. They wanted that played out in a way where they wanted people to hate The Rock for holding a fake belt.
Right.
Like that was for show. They did that on purpose, right?
Right.
Which it worked. Everyone did. They were making fun of him for holding a fake belt and all this stuff. They wanted that. They wanted you to hate The Rock. They wanted you to have more reasons to hate him.
Yep.
But the whole "let me hold yours and you can hold mine" thing was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, that was. I'm not gonna disagree with you on that. It
And
was
the,
weird. I'm
the
watching
bad
it
news for you and
going,
I is The Rock announced that he will be taking a leave
Yes,
and he'll be gone, which means he will not be there on Friday.
unfortunately.
Which
That
which was one of the main things that I really wanted. I have never been at a live event where The Rock's music hit,
Oh, that'd been great.
and I wanted to be at a live event where The Rock's music hit one time,
Stone Cold.
just once.
Can we at least get Stone Cold?
Yeah, just listen. That's another entrance where as soon as it hits, you
Yeah.
just fucking you're like, fuck yes. Yeah, it just kind of sucks.
Like,
but we're not
once-
going to get to see The Rock.
Once
but
once Cody's music hits, I gotta take a piss. I gotta fuck. I hate this fucking song, man.
Cody's music hits, and you're like,
I'm like, yeah, this is trash. I don't care. I literally, because what's gonna be different about Friday night as opposed to what happened on Monday night with him,
a different show.
other than The Rock being there.
Yeah, a different show going down on him for an hour. I don't know. Like, I
Right.
just seriously, it's like, guys, okay, come on. I get it.
It's overkill.
Everyone's really happy for him. Everyone's crying.
Yep.
It's, oh, they were so proud of Cody. Okay.
Well,
Well,
that
can
was-
we move on?
But now we have the draft coming up shortly, the WWE draft.
Yes.
which
I think
is,
it's end of the
26th.
month.
Yeah, I believe
End of
it's
the
the end
month,
of this
yep.
month. So obviously, you'd almost have to have Cody on SmackDown now, right?
Well, that's the SmackDown title, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you're going to have to have him on SmackDown.
Like, this is why there shouldn't be two titles, and this is again why you and I are both against these long title reigns, because you have so much talent on both rosters. Like, that should be the title that goes between both rosters,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so you can have shorter title reigns, you know, because obviously Roman's on one show,
Right.
That's ridiculous to me.
Right.
Have it go between two shows, and we can get some gold on new people, you know.
Yeah. Like having the U.S. title, the Intercontinental title, and the heavyweight title and the tag titles, like there shouldn't be two different tag titles either.
No, I agree with you. There shouldn't be.
There should be one set of tag titles.
Yep, and that can go between.
Right. And I agree with that too. Like those whoever holds the titles
Yeah,
can wrestle on all shows.
yeah.
Other than that, if you're on one show, you stay to that show. But if you win the title, you can go
You go between.
you go between shows.
Absolutely.
And to me that would make it more prestigious, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. But what do I know?
Well, it's just like the title that's on Raw that Priest has now. It is the secondary title. It just
oh,
is.
for sure. Absolutely.
It just and
It's
that's
the
sad.
it's the looked down on title.
It is. It was literally created
Right.
because Raw had nobody was a world champion.
Right.
Nobody. And Reigns wasn't coming on. I mean, he works so rare anyways.
Right.
But he was on SmackDown as well. So it's like, oh, he's never coming on Raw and he's defending this thing.
Nope.
And that's where I'll give Seth credit. He defended that thing like all the time.
Oh yeah. Constantly.
So,
Constantly.
yeah, they need to. They
But
need
yeah,
to do
that
something about
that whole thing was awkward. But
it was very awkward.
you want to know who isn't awkward? Actually, I take that back. You want to know who really is really awkward, but is a great DJ?
Some bald guy.
Yeah, Steve Waddell from Bald Man Entertainment.
There you go.
We all know planning events such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Bald Man Entertainment a call today at 586-747-5402. As I tell you always, he is the resident DJ for St. Hubert's Festival every year. If he's good enough for God, then he's good enough for you. Again, that's Bald Man Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Well done. There you go. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
So I'll ask you a question since we're done with the wrestling talk.
Yep.
Just flat out, are the Red Wings making the playoffs? Right now, they currently hold a playoff spot.
They
And
do,
as we're
they
speaking-
do, and they need tonight's win against Washington.
As we're speaking, is arguably the biggest game that LCA's ever seen for the Red Wings.
Yes, they really, really, really need this win tonight. I'm going to say yes.
I've said this for
You've been saying it for a while.
I've been saying this for a while. I think they'll absolutely make the playoffs. I look at all the teams around them. I'm like, every one of these teams is trash, but I think they're the best trash team out of all of them. And how this playoff race is going at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, there's no fucking way we need to expand the playoffs. Just leave it as it is. It's fine as it is. Now, I want to see it go back 1 versus 8 instead of this divisional shit they got going on because it's
Right.
ridiculous. I'm tired of seeing like the Leafs play Tampa every year, or Boston every year, or Florida every year. It's like, okay, in the first fucking round, what are we doing here?
Right.
Enough. Like this shit needs to stop. Go back to the old format. It was fine. It worked. But of course, it's Gary Bettman being Gary Bettman. He's trying to like literally the only reason why he did it is because he wanted to create rivalries. Like no,
Right.
no. That's not how you do that.
Yeah, right now the Wings are in 8th spot in the
Yes.
conference, which means they do hold a playoff spot.
They do.
They really need to take this win against Washington tonight. They need
Yes.
They need the 2 points.
Yes.
Almost desperately, honestly.
I
They
was-
need those 2 points bad.
I was talking to my next door neighbor about that yesterday, and he's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, I was like, Mike, listen. I go, the teams around them are trash. They're even worse than the Red Wings. They are making the playoffs. They'll be fine. Yes, is this team gonna do anything in the playoffs?
No.
Probably not.
Not with the way they've been playing.
No. They might get a game, but they're not gonna go on like any sort of Stanley Cup run or anything like that.
No.
But I do believe they will make the playoffs. So. And you get to see playoff hockey at the Pizza Box for the first time in about
Playoffs?
7 years. It's been open for like 7 years, right?
Playoffs?
Playoffs, yeah.
Talking about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Playoffs. So, sticking in with Detroit sports, I went to opening day on Friday. And once again, man,
The Tigers.
I don't know if they're just underprepared every year for this. I don't get how they could be underprepared for this every fucking year. But, I mean, the lines there are just egregiously bad. Egregiously bad.
At the stadium?
At the stadium. It's horrendous. Like, for concessions, for the bathroom. It's like, how do you... This is like one of the only times for the season that your entire
That you're-
stadium is full.
Like, you know that... Okay, so you know that game's going to be full.
Yeah.
And a couple games after that are going to be pretty full. And then you're going to be back to...
Like 10,000 fans.
Like maybe half the stadium.
Right.
Yeah, man. Have everybody working and don't... Frank says, gents, it's bedtime.
Night, buddy.
Go get some sleep, buddy.
Night, bye.
Bye, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I don't understand how you messed that up. You know it's going to be a packed house.
I'm just...
You know it's a sellout. Have enough people working,
Like-
man.
So we're sitting there, and then my mom and lady friend, who I went with, they're like, just stay here, and they went to go get a couple beers and some hot dogs and brats. They literally missed 3.5 innings
Oh my God.
because of these fucking lines. And I'm standing there watching this. I'm like, dude, by the time they get back, this game's gonna be fucking over.
Well, especially with the pitch count now.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about that last year when I went to the Phillies game in Philly. Got up to go get some drinks and some food, right? And wanted to see the stadium.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see any baseball when you go to a baseball game and you're traveling out of town and you're seeing an out of town stadium, see the stadium either before the game starts or afterwards, because if you walk around and get some food and see the stadium, you're missing half the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the pitch count makes the game so fast now where
It does.
you get back and you're like, wait a second. I just left. It was the second inning. How the fuck is it the 6th inning already?
Exactly. And they've sped it up this year. They chopped it down by 2 seconds for this pitch clock. Now,
Yeah, it's
it's
bad.
absurd. And I was not the biggest fan of the pitch clock. I don't like it.
I don't necessarily like the pitch clock. What I like is the aspect of them kind of making them like just stop with all the fucking bullshit, right? Let's play baseball.
This is what we have umpires for. Just
Right.
like, hey, let's go.
right.
And if you're not in the box, then you're not in the fucking box.
right, they're pitching and you just fucking
And with the pitchers, if they're not on the rubber,
right.
then ball one.
Ball one, yeah.
Like, we don't need a pitch clock for this.
Right. And if they would do that, I would rather that happen
Yes.
than have the pitch clock.
Like, you want to give them a little leeway? Fine. I'm okay with that.
Right.
But this pitch clock shit, like, you're spending good money to go down to the ballpark.
Yeah.
On tickets, on food, on drinks, on memorabilia, whatever, apparel. You want to get your money's worth, but you're there for like 2 hours.
Right.
Like, that's it.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And to me, that's absurd. Now, a lot of people are blaming the pitch clock for like all these arm injuries we're seeing with pitchers. Now,
I don't agree with that.
I don't believe it's the reason. I believe it's a reason. I believe it is a factor in this.
Really?
Oh, absolutely, I do. Because you're having pitchers just chuck pitches like with everything they got. Like I think they cut it down to like 17 seconds now, and you gotta have these arms take a second. However, my issue is this is why I think we're having all these fucking arm issues is the specialization of the position.
Right.
Like from the lower levels, from basically, I'll even say like little league to travel baseball through to the majors.
See, now that would be one of the main reasons for me because you're right. They specialize pitchers from a very early age. They didn't used to do that.
No.
And what it is there's so many more years of wear and tear on your arm by
absolutely.
the time you get to that point. If you're a good enough pitcher, like you've been pitching and only pitching and throwing pitches that strain your arm
Yep.
since you were 8.
And there's only so much stress you can put on these ligaments
Yeah.
and tendons and shit. And
Yeah.
And now you're seeing these players, they're getting Tommy John before they even need it. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
And they're coming to the show and they're still blowing their fucking arms out. Because again, it's the specialization of the sport.
Tommy John surgery should not be proactive.
It
shouldn't be a proactive surgery. That's not.
I've seen this argument or debate, whatever you want to call it, for the past, basically since the season started.
Right.
Why are all these pitchers' arms blowing up? I'm like, there's many factors that go into it. There's not one specific reason. It's
Right.
just to me, one of the biggest factors is, like I just said, I think it's the specialization of the sport. You get like these guys, they sit there and pitch all fucking year.
Yep.
Instead of doing other sports and strengthening other muscles.
Right.
And eventually,
And their only wear and tear is on that arm.
Yes.
Constantly.
and like with how these guys can like snap curveballs and sliders
Yeah.
and shit like that, you're putting so much stress on your elbow. Like I can say it, like I bowl and my left elbow is fucking killing me right now.
Yeah.
Like if I actually got an X-ray on it, they might say, yeah, you might need surgery too. Like I'm not kidding
Right.
about that because when I throw the ball, I'm putting so much torque on it
Yeah.
to get it to hook. Yeah, this is what's happening with these pitchers because they put so much torque on their elbows to have a 92 mile an hour slider, break 3 to 9 or 9 to 3, whatever, lefty or righty. It's gonna fuck your shit up, man. And it's sad. It's sad to see what's going on because every one of these managers and owners, they throw as hard as you can. Oh, you throw what? You throw 99? No, you can throw like 102.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Throw it harder.
And to me,
More curve on the curveball.
yeah, and to me that's absurd. Like I don't care how hard you throw. It frankly doesn't matter. If you can't fucking locate it,
Right.
give me movement on my pitches all day.
Yeah.
But you don't need to throw a 93 mile an hour slider. You don't. If you throw an 87 mile an hour slider with
Right.
crazy break and you could locate it,
Well,
you're good.
It's about location and movement more than speed, right?
Yes.
Now, there's pitchers that really all they have is their fastball. I mean, you go back, you looked at, Joel Zamaya.
Yeah.
That was his main thing was just fastballs.
Fastballs,
how-
and he had that nasty curve, that 12 to 6 curve.
But like, you're right. It's more about look at Greg Maddux.
Perfect example.
His fastball, what's his fastball, like 94?
I think he would top out at maybe 92.
Yeah, I mean, it was like
But all his shit moved like crazy.
every one of his pitches had movement to it, and he could locate a pitch like nobody else I've ever seen, man.
He could start a pitch in the left-handed batter's box, and that would swing over the plate at the last second. Like nobody, like, it was amazing how he could do that.
He was one of the best pitchers I've ever seen, and yet his fastball, like I said, I think I've seen him. I think I saw him max out at like 94.
Right.
Like that was his max out.
And he's always said that. He goes, I don't need to throw hard.
The majority of his fastballs, like you said, were around 92 miles an hour.
Yep.
But he didn't need it.
He didn't need it. Now,
Lady friend
Yeah.
did say it was ridiculous the amount of time we waited. She said the staff was doing a decent job, but there wasn't enough concessions at all, and they just weren't prepared.
yeah,
Which is sad.
it really was. Now, I will give him credit.
That ruins the time of everybody there.
It absolutely does. Now, I will give him credit of how they let people enter the stadium. They changed that up a little bit this year.
Okay.
So you know how you would go in and they empty your pockets and all that shit.
Yeah.
They didn't do that this year.
Really?
For if you had like a purse or like a little bag or whatever, they made you empty that.
Okay.
For the females, but the guys, go. Just
Really?
walk right in.
No shit.
Yep. And I think they finally got to the realization that people were pissed about it.
Yeah.
It's like, because that's another thing with these games being so short now, and you have a long ass line like that just to get in the stadium.
Yeah.
People are going to be livid. But you're not going to get into the stadium till what, the third inning,
Yeah.
fourth inning, because of these long ass lines, because they're checking everything. It's like, okay, but I think they finally changed it up this year, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll give them credit for that. But these concession stand lines and these bathroom lines were absurd, absolutely absurd.
She says they had people looking in the bags as you were waiting in line, so it made the line move very quickly. Yeah, that's the one thing that I think should happen is if you are gonna check bags and things like that, have the extra people doing it. Don't wait until you get up there.
Yeah,
and then
Stall
check them
everywhere.
there. Yeah, have people walking the line and checking them, pre-checking them. That way, when they get up there, they can just get in. You know, it's keep the line moving, and that's what I agree with. But as far as the Tigers go, just a quick thought on them. They're 7-4, right?
Yep.
But they really don't have an offense.
Yeah, it's kind of a fraudulent 7-4.
Yeah,
because of
so-
the teams they beat.
Yeah, so the runs scored and the runs against right now are the exact same at 38.
Okay.
And I will tell you they're lower than a lot of teams who have a worse record than they do. They're the third lowest runs scored in their division.
Okay.
The Twins and the White Sox have lower runs scored.
I'm not shocked about the White Sox. The White Sox are terrible.
I'm not shocked about either one of those,
That's a
truthfully.
that is a bad baseball team. But then again, the A's came to Detroit and beat up on them. So
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things where their record right now is 7-4. Yes, it's a good record. They're second in the division. The problem is they're not going to be able to sustain it.
no, and
Not without scoring runs. And to me, this lineup doesn't look like it's ever going to score runs, man. I don't know what to
doesn't.
tell you.
And the shitty thing is, they're actually getting decent pitching.
Well,
Not
they're-
great pitching, but they're getting decent. Pitching.
They're getting very good pitching.
Yeah.
And I believe the pitching will only get better. And of course, there's going to be people saying, well, the batting's going to get better too.
Will it?
And, well, there was people saying, well, you know, their pitching's really good and their batters are dealing with cold weather right now, so just wait until it warms up. Okay, wait a second. Time out. If you're going to give the excuse that the Tigers batters are dealing with cold weather and once it warms up, they're going to hit better, then in turn, is the Tigers pitching going to get worse because the other team's
Yeah,
batters are
because
batting
they're-
in cold
yeah,
weather
right.
and their pitching looks better because the batters are batting in cold weather? Like, you can't have one and not the other,
No,
right? Like,
certainly not.
You got to pick one, man.
It's just it's kind of frustrating to watch. It's like you see them constantly have runners in scoring position, and you're just like, nah, you know they're not going to score here. And I keep hearing this term positive regression, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But apparently it's a thing by these analytics nerds that I get. It sounds kind of like an oxymoron to me. Like, okay,
Yeah, it's a positive regression. Okay.
okay, like that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's what they keep saying is, you know, the Tigers, their hitters going to have positive regression. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? They're going to regress, but up?
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Okay,
to me, that would just be
yeah,
saying, like, basically, I guess they're saying, water always finds its level.
Yeah,
I guess.
To me, that's just
so. Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just another made-up analytic term.
yeah, it's weird. So, are their bats going to be better than they are now? They're going to get slightly better.
I don't think
I
they'd be
don't-
much worse.
They can't be much worse, but also, man, they're going to have to really heat up to make any difference.
Well,
Like, listen,
I mean, the good thing about it is
Parker Meadows can't hit the broadside of a barn, dude.
no,
And
but neither can Javi Baez.
well, Javi Baez. There's nothing more clear to me than the fact that Javi Baez should not be playing baseball for money anywhere, ever.
You mean you play baseball for money?
Like that should not happen.
No.
and yet they're paying him a shit ton of money. To
They
do
are.
it. This is a guy that, and I'm never one of those people that's going to be like, this dude is like he's not going out there and trying.
He's trying.
He doesn't care. No, this guy is trying.
Yeah.
He's just not good.
No, his swing is so jacked up.
He's
It's,
not
he
good.
overswings at everything. And if it's a breaking ball away, good luck. I
Oh,
mean,
good God.
I don't know. Is it like a yip or something like that?
I don't know,
Like, how
man,
do you
but-
not recognize this pitch by now? You
There-
see a ton of them.
There's so many pitches out of the strike zone away
Yeah.
that he just like you would almost have to throw your bat at it
Yeah,
in order to even
exactly.
touch the ball. But he swings.
He does. Now, the good thing about this, and I guess their, quote, positive regression, whatever the fuck that means, is they play in a bad division.
They do. They're second in the division right now. Kansas City's behind them at 6-4. Cleveland's ahead of them at 8-2.
Yep.
Minnesota's 3-5. White Sox 1-9. You don't have to worry about the White Sox. I think
No.
the Twins are going to get better. I don't think they have as bad of a team as they've kind of been right now. But yeah, the division is not good. We talked about that before the season started. I think it's probably the worst division in baseball, which means they have a shot,
They do.
but without hitting, they have no shot.
Oh, no.
You can't. I mean, their pitching might end up, even if it progresses, their pitching might end up being great.
But that's
no joke.
And that's why I think they can stay in the race, is because of their pitching. I'll take like the Blue Jays, for example, last year. Their offense was horrendous, especially with runners in scoring position. It was fucking terrible. But they ended up in the playoffs because of their pitching and defense. Their pitching was arguably the best in baseball, their staff. Yeah. And that's why I don't think the Tigers' staff is going to be the best in baseball, but I think it'll be good enough that will keep them in the race in the AL Central. They're not going to win because the wild card is not coming from that division.
They're going to have to get some sort of a semblance of offense.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. They absolutely have to.
If that doesn't change, they're not doing anything.
And that's what I was talking about the Blue Jays is, yeah, while their offense was horrendous, they had just enough to offset their actually really good pitching.
Right.
In a significantly better division.
Right.
Than what the Tigers are playing in. So, again, if they can get a semblance of offense, I think they'll be fine.
Something.
Anything. But you don't have to worry about having anything of substance.
The Joe Wright Group?
That's right. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson a call today at 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs.
No, I sound drunk.
Yeah, a little bit on that one. That was bad.
Sports on Tap.
I haven't had any beers today. Maybe I should have.
Maybe you should start.
Maybe I should start. All right, so I know you didn't watch the women's Final Four. I was up in Muskegon for a bowling tournament. We were at a bar, and it was on. So I was kind of tuning into it a lot more than I wanted to, but I caught myself interested in it. And there was a play toward the end of the game. UConn had the ball for basically the last possession, and the referee called one of the UConn players for an offensive foul. It was an illegal screen or illegal pick, whatever. Now, if you look at the play, and this has been debated over social media since the play happened. If you look at the play, yeah, it was absolutely a foul. Like, she was moving. She was legit moving.
Right.
To make the screen. Now, I don't have a problem with it being called a foul if you're going to call the entire game like that, which, if you look at it, they did not. I think they called that foul maybe twice the entire game, and that was the third time they called it. But if they were calling it like that the entire game, fine, call it. Now, I get why you people are upset, because you wanted to see a buzzer beater. Fair enough. But how is that fair to Iowa?
Right.
This is what I don't get about it. Like, honestly, I couldn't care less who wins that game. Didn't matter to me. But it was just funny seeing people just flip the fuck out on social media after this. Go, you can't make that call then. Why can't you make that call then? If it's a fucking foul, it's a foul.
It's a foul.
But saying that, if you don't call the whole game like that,
yeah,
then it's frustrating. I get that. Just be consistent about it.
That's my whole issue, and I didn't see the game, but we've talked about this before in other sports, right?
NFL,
big time, absolutely,
big time.
To me, the refs, the umps, the officials, part of what they need to do, part of their job is being consistent, right? Yep. They're humans, right? So they're not all going to be calling things the exact same.
No.
But be consistent throughout a game. If you're letting something go, if you're being consistent in what you're calling and what you're not calling, the end of the game doesn't matter because you're just going to be consistent in what you do.
Yes.
If you haven't called that penalty, that foul, all game, you don't call it in the last minute either. Plain and simple.
Yes.
Right? No matter whether it is or not. Now, can I truly fault you for calling a penalty or a foul when it actually is? No, I can't. I do still have a problem with it because you weren't consistent throughout the game.
Yep. And especially now with the betting culture we live in, like, you have to be consistent. Like,
True.
You have to.
True. And you're right. Even more so now than they should have been before. And
that,
to me, it just goes to being completely level and fair across the board without betting involved is be consistent. Call in the first quarter, in the first period, in the first inning, call the same thing you're going to call in the last of the game. Period.
And then you get the conspiracy theories. You're like, well, they just wanted Caitlin Clark in the national championship game. This is a problem.
Right.
Because when you see something like that, you're like, it adds legitimacy to it. It's like, okay, yeah, the guy probably did. And it turns out it was like, I think it was like the highest rated women's game ever. It actually outdrew the men's game last night.
Yep.
And it's like, you can't have that.
No.
Because now everybody looks at that game as like, shit was rigged. They wanted her in the championship.
Whether
game.
it was or not, there's the tainted look of it.
Yeah. You can't have that.
No, I agree.
And we've harped on officiating for God knows how long on this podcast. But there's a reason. Because it's fucking atrocious. Like, officiating is so bad across every fucking sport. And I don't understand why. Because we have the technology to make it so it's not bad.
Right.
It's just frustrating. It really is. But, not much we can do about it.
No, but it kind of needs to change. Like there needs to be that consistency in any official.
Yeah.
Period.
No. Absolutely.
Hey, you got anything else today, bud?
No.
None. All right. Well, on that note, thanks for tuning in. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider.
What?
As always, check out SOTDET.com.
Oh, I sound drunk.
Give us I sound drunk. Go to SOTDET.com. Click on shop. Buy some stuff. Again, that's SOTDET.com. On behalf of Chris and Frank, who's sleeping, we are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye, have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No. Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
We've been through our ups and been through our downs.
And you were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.